Just to interrupt, what's the purpose of
What we're doing?
What's the aim of
Well, to be honest, the aim of what we're doing is raising awareness about our faith. Yeah, that's it, raising awareness. We're not trying to convert someone to say, when you listen to me, you'll never see me say, that faith is wrong, you shouldn't believe, just follow Sikhism. Although obviously deep down I believe that Sikhism is 100% the truth, obviously I won't be standing up here. But we don't criticize other religions. Yeah? But if someone asks a question, I have to answer it. So if you ask me, okay, what would make someone believe in the gurus in order for them to actually start following this way, then I can talk about that. For example, there was 10 gurus. From 1500s to 1700s, for 200 years, there was 10 gurus in line, right? One after the other. All of them had an amazing life. All of them lived a life of purity and truth. And never once, if you look in their lives, will you see them act in a way that would be immoral. Always they're full of compassion and love, right? And also, one thing you notice with them is that they keep the same message. No, never one guru goes against the previous gurus and says, oh, they were wrong. You know, which often happens. Like, you work in a company, a new boss comes in, the new boss goes, oh, that old method is messed up, you got to go for our new method, right? The 10th guru, he says to every Sikh, you must wake up in the morning and first read the prayer of the first guru. Then you come to my prayer. Yeah? So they're all in congruence. They're all agreeing with each other, which is quite unique. There's 10 of them. They agree. They're perfectly moral, and they have the most sublime lives. They live lives that are very amazing. Like, for example, the first guru, he traveled all over the world. Yeah. So he wasn't uneducated. He knew all the faiths out there. Okay. He was well versed in Islam and Hinduism. He sets up Sikhi, but when he sets up Sikhi, the people that come to him are from all faiths, right? Now, also what happens is, for example, he speaks against slavery. We've got no slavery in our faith. A lot of the things that nowadays put people off religion, we don't have in our religion. Yeah. So there's no slavery. There's no sense of conversion. There's no sense of hatred towards other communities. One thing I can point to that a lot of people love in our faith is the Guru Granth Sahib Ji itself, the scripture. The 10 gurus, they put their writings and they said, now follow the scripture. One interesting thing about the scripture, Guru Granth Sahib Ji, is that it's got writings of people from other faiths. It's an inclusive scripture. It's not an exclusive scripture. It doesn't say, we're the only ones that have the truth, everybody else is wrong. It says that people of all faiths have found the truth. Look, be inclusive.
Can I ask questions?
Sure. Anytime you want.
Okay, so I got a couple of questions.
Do you have a faith, or you're open, or you said you have no faith? It
depends on what you mean by faith. But so I have like 3 questions. So like religion, usually like Christianity or Islam or something, might tell you, okay, believe because we want you to go to heaven.
Yeah.
Or what about Sikhism? Like, why should I believe?
Well, like I said, it's more of a transformational process.
What will I lose if I don't?
If you don't meditate upon God, you'll waste your life. In the sense that you worked hard to be a human in the first place. Our philosophy says that before you got this human life, you actually worked really hard to get this life. Like your soul waited for loads of lifetimes to get this one chance. So you've already won the lottery as a human, right? And if you don't experience God and you waste the main purpose of this life, which is to connect, you'll have wasted the human life, which is a really precious gift, right? So it's like having an iPhone and always be on airplane mode. Why not turn it off airplane mode and why not connect? What will you lose by connecting to God? Nothing.
I'll lose time maybe?
No.
Time in doing something else?
No, because you'll enjoy God so much. You don't say to somebody who really enjoys playing the violin, oh, you're losing out by playing the violin, because they love it.
Yes.
Everybody has a love. Everybody has something they enjoy.
But
that person's choices, you will enjoy connecting to God, is what I'm trying to say to you. Right?
I mean,
you won't hate it, you love it. Because the experience is so blissful. So you have nothing to lose.
That's a good segue to my next question, which is like, how do you know that it will work for all human beings? Like, or like, actually I don't know the method, but like, how long does it require me to do it to know, oh, it worked and now I have it?
Okay. when you step into sunlight, you don't need someone to tell you, are you in sunlight? You know. Second thing is, it all depends upon where you are in your previous lives and what's due to you. So for example, when I first meditated, I only said God's name a few times. So we meditate by saying God's name. It's really simple. You literally just call God. You know, just say God's name, that's it. Now,
Just like that.
yeah, whichever name. The Guru gives us a name. His name, he says, is Waheguru. You see that guy at the top? So Waheguru, that's the word that we use. But it could, so for any person, when they first start calling God, it depends upon where they are right now in their thinking, how cloudy it is, how clear it is, how ready they are for God. And the second thing is also their previous lives. Whether in their previous life they'd been a spiritual person and now they're just waiting to be activated, or right now they've got loads of things on their head, they need to clear it out and then they can connect. So it's kind of like we don't know how dirty our window is. When we start cleaning it, we find out how easy it is to see through the other side. Some people have got dirt which is really caked on. Other people, one quick swipe and they can see.
Will I reach a point where I know that it didn't work?
No, because it will work.
Absolutely.
Well, obviously, because you're a human being. The thing to do is to keep the faith, to keep on going and not give up too early.
Can it take forever?
No, it won't
Like
take
that?
forever. No. It all depends. It depends on you.
I have one last question.
It depends on you. Because the thing is, what's standing between you and God? When the Sikh philosophy. Between us and God, there is a wall. And the wall is our ego.
But
So all we got to do is get rid of the ego and then we will merge.
But now you're assuming there is God on the other side.
There is, obviously, I don't have to assume, I know.
But this way it's supposed to show me God, right?
Yeah.
Like if I start with this way.
But if you
to reach
start,
God,
if
I
you
think
start
I
to
already
break,
assumed it.
if you start to break down the walls between you and God, then obviously you'll experience God.
How do you know that God exists first?
Well, for that you have to, like I said to you, you have faith in the gurus.
Okay, so
You believe in the
another good
gurus.
segue to my third question, which is about like, okay, all of us should, if I'm understanding correctly, all of us we have to believe in the gurus.
No. I didn't say that. That's for a Sikh. If you're a Muslim, you can believe in Islam, you can chant God's name. Be a good human being.
So
Yeah.
what's the method exactly?
The Guru's teaching,
Chanting God's name?
chanting God's name,
And that's it?
and being a good person, being compassionate, loving, caring.
And who? Okay.
So good
Maybe I
deeds,
misunderstood.
good
You're saying
deeds.
that the gurus discovered this method?
No, this
Or
method has been
developed
around since the beginning of mankind.
So why
Since the beginning of mankind, people have realized that there is a creator, and if you're good and you're compassionate and you can meditate, you connect. That's why in India, and it is more prevalent, the philosophy I'm talking about, the idea of connecting to God and meditating, this is more in India prevalent. Right? There's yogis that have been around thousands of years ago saying things that are very similar to what the Guru is saying. The only thing with the Gurus is they made it practical for everyone. One key, not the only, but many things. Sorry. They made it practical for everyone. So in the old days, they believed in order for you to be connecting to God, you have to leave the world. So when you see yogis, they live in the mountains. You see monks, they live in the mountains. They say the world is all suffering, is all false. They leave that. What the Guru did is they brought that way into the real world. And they said you can do it here. You don't have to leave the world. The ideal life is that of a householder, to be married, to have kids, to be working, and yet still be like a yogi, still be a monk in your mind, be unattached to the world, be like a monk, but still live in the world. That's hard. It's easy to not think about women when there's no women around you. It's hard to keep your mind on God when you're living in the world where there's so many other things around you that could distract you, whether it's food, whether it's money, whether it's power, whether it's lust. All these things, they are harder in the real world. But when you're here in the real world, you learn to fight them. You learn to control them. In the mountains, you never learn to control them. All you've done is take them out of your life. If you take a monk from the mountain, bring him into the world, he might fall the next day. He might not be able to cope with the world. But the Gurus, they make this system which is like a monk, but you live in the world and you can overcome your lower desires and come to a higher spiritual awareness of who you really are. Right? So the Gurus brought that system and they made it real for people. Also, the Gurus themselves set examples. You know, in life you need role models, right? People you can aspire to, people you can learn from. The gurus are that for us. They're role models because how they lived is so pure. They lived as perfect human beings. They were always moral, always spiritual, you know. They advocated even when their own children were being killed. You know, the gurus still didn't get attached and say, I need revenge and I want to go out and kill everybody. They still taught us how to overcome personal suffering. You know, so the gurus are ideal role models for us.